And then that also brings me to another question about the identity of God itself. Like, as Hindus, we actually do believe in one Paramatma.
We do. Yeah.
We do. But then why is it necessary for us to be able to visualize God in different forms? Is that coming back to your point about, like, we are constrained by our senses and we do not have the capacity to take in God in his most, like, his ultimate form. So are these deities that we see on like the smaller deities, are those there for us to like easily achieve some kind of faith before we can get to the higher power? Because he's hard to get to.
He's definitely. So there is this there is this infinite divine entity, right?
Yeah.
Brahman, infinite and permanent. So with your senses, there's only so much you can perceive, right? That's one reason. We are very limited, and so slowly we understand that there is a bigger reality. Now, so there is one. Actually, most people don't know this, but Hindus are monotheistic. They believe in one divine entity, and that is they call it by any name. So the Vaishnavas would say it's Vishnu or Krishna, who is the ultimate Bhagwan, God. And then others might say Shiva. Then Devi, those who worship Devi will say Devi is the ultimate reality. She is the divine, permanent, infinite reality. So there are different names. So, but Hindus have this concept of one God, right? We have that, But the other forms, these are also existent. The Hindus believe that there are different entities. So these are also, they're above humans. They're above humans. They have more powers than humans.
Okay.
Right? And so we worship all of them but we know that they are not the final, they are not the ultimate God. But they also have powers, they also love, they also can take care of you. So that's the reason, like, we worship Hanuman, for example. Hanuman is Vayu.
So these deities are necessary for achieving materialistic things in life. Like, you would pray to
not
this
just
deity.
Materialistic, even understanding Paramatma himself. We need to these deities will help you in that. See, the other thing that in Hindus we understand is that we may not have read everything, we may not have experienced everything. We have not even gone to those states of meditation where we can comprehend far more than a common person.
Yeah.
So before us, a lot of rishis have come who have gone into that state of meditation where they could see a lot more than we did. And they have given all these words to us, all these shastras that we have, the books. Right? We have so many shastras in Hinduism, in Sanskrit, they're all written. So we take them as agama. Agama, the words of great realized people are in those books. So when we cannot go that far, we will use these books and these words to understand. And sometimes we will just take it as it is because we will not be able to understand it. So let's take it as it is told.
Okay.
And that varies for different denominations in Hinduism. So different people will use different agamas, different books, different shastras to comprehend, or that is the belief system they have in that deity or whatever. So then that's how it works. So we don't have to know everything. We'll go by what an earlier set of gurus have said, and then if they tell us these are the deities to invoke, and you worship in this way, you do this, you chant this, so we follow that.
Right. But how do I know which one's right for me?
Start with something, right? You start with any path, go a little way, and as you go, you will know. And as you get into the path of realization, spirituality, different guides will come to help you, and that is also sent by Paramatma. Okay. So they will come to guide you, and then you will know, okay, this doesn't suit me, so I'm going to do something else. And you will get into a path. Maybe you will go just a little bit in this birth. Next birth, you will advance a little more. And in that way, you will get on to that path. So you have to start by yourself somewhere.
So you have to start with some worship of a deity.
Yes.
And what if you just are, like, the way we do it in the morning is we give our pranam to all the different deities. So do we pick one and then go on that path?
Yeah,
or
sure. Start with the simple thing of lighting a lamp, for instance, and praying to different deities, as you know, and then keep doing it. Then a time comes, you will meet somebody. If you are in that quest, you want to know how to deepen your meditation, how to deepen your spiritual practices, you will meet somebody who will guide you, and then you go with that person, and your mind will tell you. So as you do it, your own mind will be your guru, your teacher. It will tell you what to do.
Like, there's a lot of intuition
will be awakened as you start doing your sadhana, your practices. Simple practices, lighting a lamp, chanting the mantras, focusing on the deity and getting the image of the deity in front of you as a living deity. Do not think of them in the abstract sense. They live, they are there, right? You, like when you were reading Harry Potter, you found it all like a magic world, these things are there.
Yeah.
But imagine if it's not a magic world. It's just that you are limited by your vision. So you are not seeing that deity right in front of you. And now when you deepen your vision, deepen your understanding, and now you can see the deity. And so many practitioners have told you that. They have said that. Right? And then you get onto the path. Even then it's not easy. Even after you have deepened your relationship with the deity, it doesn't mean everything is going to be fine with you. There will be a lot of struggles. Obstacles will be placed in your path. You may stop worshipping altogether. You may not even do anything.
There'll be a lot of temptations that will be put in your way to get you off the path.
Distractions, disillusion, disillusionment. They all come.
Which is part of what I was saying earlier. Like all these things are put to try to get you out of it, to see how strong your faith is.
Yes.
So it all comes back to that
you should
idea.
always have this unshakable faith that there is someone looking out for you. You're not alone in this world. The blessings of your gurus, blessings of your ancestors, your parents, they're all there with you. And now you also make your own personal relationship with the divine. You do it yourself. Move and think of, if you think of them as real, do the things that you know will make them happy, right? Like whatever it is, like you eat right, for example. You don't overeat, or you don't eat things that make you drowsy, lazy, stupid. Just eat things that keep you alert and active for the deity. You're doing it all for the deity. And then you start seeing differences in what's happening in your life when you have that faith and you're doing it for the deity.